Welcome back to Hot Takes. It's me, it's Duke, it's Battle of the Foreheads. Actually got a forehead related hot take
More to
in
come
there.
later.
You know what, this week I am going to take the vow of stupidity. No stats from me, no research, which bodes well because I've not even looked at the questions yet, hence why this man is reading them out.
Well,
deceivingly tall.
Deceivingly tall. I don't know about deceivingly. I've always been this height. Haven't changed height since I started working here. But anyway, first one comes in from James Wayne in The Office, and he says, Declan Rice is already better than Eric Dier has ever been. Chris, what are your thoughts on this one?
He doesn't have a grain of credibility after that one. Did you get it? Rice is a grain.
It's a good start.
Declan Rice is better than Eric Dier. I've been saying for quite some time that I think Eric Dier is an extremely limited footballer to be playing consistently at a top club, a club like Spurs. I feel like Spurs are a very small way of transitioning, evolving out of players like Eric Dier. They're going to need more multi-talented players like Dele Alli who can pretty much do it all. I remember when Harry Redknapp came in and he brought a bunch of players in and Spurs became a Champions League club, then all of a sudden half of those players were surplus to requirements. I remember Vedran Chorluka, perfectly good fullback.
He was a great servant.
But then when they got to the Champions League, it was like, he's not really a Champions League player. Yes, there was a litany. That's a very good shout out as well. Eric, listen, he's fine. I like him. I think he's an okay centre back. He's not that far away from Phil Jones in all-round ability, in my opinion. Is he an elite CDM? Absolutely not. Who did he say was better than him? Declan Rice. Declan Rice is 19. Eric Dier is what, 24?
Yeah,
25?
25, yeah.
Eric Dier is solid. Declan Rice looks like he might have a slightly higher ceiling, looks a little bit more dynamic in midfield. I mean, but to say that after 3 or 4 games, how many players have we seen have a good, 6 months at West Ham?
Very limited.
Only to go down the absolute.
But to be fair, I think just like you shouldn't speak ill of the dead, you shouldn't speak ill of the injured as well. Eric Dier can't defend himself right now. He's been on the sidelines for months and it's easy to bitch about players that haven't played. Whereas Declan Rice is in the form of his life. Well, it's only a pretty young career so far, but he's looked great at the base of that West Ham midfield alongside Noble and Snodgrass, who's also having a really underrated season, Robert Snodgrass. Eric Dier, I think he's a better centre-back than he is a central midfielder. He never wanted to be a central midfielder from my understanding. He's just a victim of his own versatility.
I can relate.
Exactly. I think he's a great squad player for Spurs. I wouldn't get rid of him. I disagree with you. I'd keep him in there. He can play multiple positions. He can also play as a right back. Are they going to win a Champions League or a Premier League with Eric Dier starting in midfield? No. But could they use him, if Alderweireld or Vertonghen, if either of them are there next season?
I don't think get rid of it. Fine, good squad player, but like you've just articulately put, not in the starting 11 of a championship winning side.
Although I would have him.
Does bang against Russia though.
Does bang against Russia.
Take that, Putin.
I mean, he's got 30 odd England caps. He's no mug. But yeah, not necessarily going to start in a Premiership winning side. But also Winks and Sissoko, they're only real midfield options. They're not blessed with options there. Definitely keep him for a few more years, but maybe pull him back. On to the next one.
You can speak Portuguese though, which I
respect.
I respect
indeed.
it.
Cultured.
Obrigado.
Next one comes in from @Bish, and we are raising the heat in here with this one. He said Hazard isn't the best player in the Premier League. He's not even the best winger. Christopher, thoughts?
Bosh from Bish.
Bam. Take it on.
He's definitely the thickest. He's a thick boy.
Oh, he's got ass on him.
Thick ass. He got Jones.
Since Ivanovic retired, he's really taking over the mantle.
Brian Ivanovic, as my friend called him at university, legitimately thought his name was Brian, not Branislav. Proper anglicised him. Brian Ivanovic.
Oh, that's brilliant.
One idiot. Shout out to Harrison, my poshest friend.
Have I taken over?
Until now.
Just about
Eden Hazard, probably one of the most naturally gifted footballers I've watched. Is he the most consistent performer in the Premier League? No, I think the likes of Raheem Sterling has probably overtaken him. Is Son more consistent for Spurs than Hazard is for Chelsea? Very debatable. But in terms of out-and-out talent, the most naturally gifted footballer in the Premier League. But his attitude has been questioned multiple times. His goal return has been questioned. Raheem Sterling, of course, pipping him in that regard as well. And I've actually been on record as to say I prefer Raheem Sterling in my side than Eden Hazard.
Crazy.
Eden Hazard is a more technically gifted footballer than Raheem Sterling. Some of Raheem Sterling's game, some of his play is still a little bit, awkward at times, a little bit direct, although sending people for hot dogs left, right, and centre against Arsenal in the box.
That is Arsenal.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of who you'd have out on the left in the Premier League, Eden Hazard probably first choice.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few players close to him. I do agree. I think his output doesn't match his skill and what he brings to the game. I do think he's fun to watch. I do think his dribbling's superb. He pretty much has held that Chelsea attack together for the last 5 years, with a litany of strikers coming in through the door and quickly moving on. Even Diego Costa was only there for about 2.5 years in the end. Hazard, great player, enjoy watching him, but I think there's a lot of players that are close to him. I wouldn't just say Sterling. I think Sane's very close to him on his day. I think Son's right in the mix. I think Martial, when he plays, can be more deadly than Hazard.
What about Mane? What about Salah out on the right? Are we talking exclusively wide players?
I was exclusively talking left wingers, but right, yeah, okay. I mean Salah in there as well. But I do prefer Salah as a 9 in recent weeks. I think on the right he's looked a bit sloppy, and I still can't really get behind Mane being one of the best players in the Premier League. I still can't quite do it. I think he's just a notch below the top.
He can be an absolute game changer. He's probably a little bit like Eden Hazard light in that when I watched that first half against Leicester, he was pretty much carrying Liverpool's attack. He is phenomenal in transition, but then some of his decision making when he's in the box can be relatively poor given the rest of his attributes. If we're picking a left winger, definitively going for Eden Hazard. Played under 2 defence-minded coaches. We're supposedly seeing, we should have been seeing the best of him this season. Going through various, inconsistent patches yet again, but hopefully Higuain, a confident number 9 who wants to bring him into the game, gets the best out of him. Vintage Hazard.
Got a quick question for you.
Oh, go on.
You get £120 million for 28-year-old Hazard this summer. Do you take it?
28-year-old Hazard, 120. I would have taken 150 for him in the summer, so I think 120 is probably still fair. Yes, because Chelsea need major surgery.
I agree. Bye-bye, Eden. See you later.
And yeah, you can probably get Leon Bailey in for 34.
Maybe. Next one comes in from @Barca Thank you very much. He says Pogba has been the best midfielder in the world this season, and I want to kick this one off because we are only talking about 2 months here, mate. Pogba, I know he had issues with Mourinho. I know he had multiple issues with how Mourinho treated him, but he only turned up from the end of November rather. Fantastic recently. You can't escape that. But best midfielder in the world this season, you've got to be looking at people like Pjanic, who are knitting together a Juventus midfield that have played unbelievably well so far.
Tom Rodgick
as well. Shove Grant Ledbetter in there for all I like as well. Great debut against Wimbledon, Grant. But Pjanic, I think, has to take the nod. Fernandinho as well. I know they play slightly different midfield roles, but yeah, I think Pogba, best midfielder in the world this season, a bit over-ambitious. Although if he keeps this form going till May, he's got to be in the reckoning.
You know what it is about Pogba? It's just that he can do it all, can't he? I don't think...
And in such style.
I think he maybe struggles a little bit from not having a definitive position. So under Jose, his sort of goal contributions took a little bit of a knock because he was...
Although whose didn't?
Yeah, he was, exactly. He was chief in terms of deep progressions, wasn't he? The only midfielder who looked like he could really get Manchester United up the pitch because Nemanja Matic was playing on stumps apparently during that time. Absolute treacle.com.
Oh, poor Matic. Although back recently.
Yeah, and I actually really like Pogba at the tip of a diamond, although he's kind of... recently, threading those lovely balls, deep balls through for Rashford, they seem to be, starting a pretty dynamic relationship between the pair of them. So, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. But you're right, best midfielder in the world was the quote.
To be fair, there's been a lot of the big midfielders in the world haven't necessarily played to their best this year. I don't think Kroos or Modric have been at their absolute best this year. You could probably argue the same for Rakitic at Barcelona. And then the rest of the Premier League...
Arthur Melo, best midfielder, next.
Arthur's been great.
Sexy little...
Next one comes in from @Leche de Tetas, and he says Son is the ideal replacement for Cavani in PSG's frontline. And I originally thought that this was as a direct replacement for a number 9, but it turns out Leche de Tetas means moving Mbappe into the middle, which is probably where you see his long-term future. And 18 goals this season plus numerous assists. He's lethal wherever you put him. But I don't think you need to move Cavani out so soon. I think Cavani's had a really unheralded year as well. But Son would be a great addition to any elite club's frontline. If Real Madrid couldn't get Hazard this window as well, I'd probably go for Son as the next best option for a slightly more affordable price. What do you think, Christopher?
I think that Cavani really reminds me of the mask from Crash Bandicoot.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you run
Yeah,
through him
yeah.
and he goes, "Oody bugger," and then you're like, it's crashing through people. Talking of crashing through people, PSG don't really need anyone else, do they, domestically? Absolutely mopping up Marseille, self-destructing, although Lyon did beat them, claiming their third victory in 7. The only people that can really challenge them every other game is Lyon. PSG, yeah, Mbappe number 9. I mean, they've got Draxler who can play out left. They've still got Angel Di Maria, who's very handy when he plays. I don't think they need Son, but why not? You know, I mean, they went after Frankie de Jong. They went after who else? De Ligt. They might get De Ligt. So they're clearly still, you know, in the process of future proofing. But Thomas Tuchel's only signed a 2-year deal. Is any player really going to be that keen to go to PSG? I suppose money. Just money in it. Who gives a f*** his manager there? Just pay me that oil money.
Although you make a good point, they've got bigger issues. You know, Thiago Silva must be about 32 now. Kimpembe will need a partner. Marquinhos is having to play midfield. Verratti's supposedly unfit and doesn't really like working under Tuchel. So another midfielder rather than maybe a centre-back.
He has said his priority is a number 6, so then Marquinhos has deputised very well there. A little bit exposed at Champions League level maybe. Rabiot, moving on, is going to be an issue. One of the most unique midfielders in the game right now. His skill set, absolutely mesmerising. How do you replace Rabiot? I mean, I'm assuming that's why they went for Frankie de Jong. Who else is out there? Lozano maybe instead of Son. I just moved on from one thing to another there. No real coherence.
I'd also say they probably need another keeper as well. Buffon's 40 whatever, he won't go on forever. I never thought Areola is good enough for PSG. Showed again at the weekend flapping at that cross for that Lyon equaliser, I think it was. So yeah, there's issues at PSG outside of Son, but we're all for Son moving if he wants to.
Go on, Son.
And the last one comes in from regular contributor. It's at Menez18, and he said, Chris has a bigger forehead than Doogie. If you've been wondering what he's been doing with this measuring tape all the time, it's because we are actually going to prove it. Right.
I'm going to measure you first.
So we're going for, I'm losing my hair, so we have to go from the centre.
Where does the forehead start or end with you?
I think it starts at the eyebrows and then it goes into the hairline.
Right. Into the top of the hairline.
Yeah.
So we're going, okay, that is about 9, what is that, 4 inches? About
4 inches? I have no idea. Right,
so
okay.
It's on 4.
Okay. Oh no, yours is a little tiddler. Yours is 3 1/4, mate.
I know! I've lost the crown!
Biggest forehead, hairiest body, most bald. Bam!
Congratulations.
Happy
Thank you
days.
for contributing, Menez, our Syrian brother. What a legend. By the way, he apparently edits things of his on his phone.
Really? Talented guy.
That is commitment.
Talented guy.
That is commitment.
Get him in.
Get him over here. 2-week internship. I mean, probably can't pay your travel expenses. Sorry. That's Hot Takes for another week. What combination would you like to see on this bloody show next week? Let us know in the comments below, and also keep sending us your terrible, terrible football opinions for future episodes. Doogie, what else should these little slugs go and watch next?
Doogie. I think you meant biggest forehead on off D. They should go. Oh, that. Yeah, I think you meant biggest forehead then. Oh, sake. Biggest forehead. I struggled with forehead yesterday in ERU as well. IRU. Right, they should obviously go over to EFT and check out Stat Wars The League. This man versus Sam Obaseki.
Champ.
Clash. See you next time.
Next time.
Bye. That was not my best end board.